Jeff Meeks and Chris Austin invite you to watch your favorite sports event at the Batter's Box at 43 Hermitage Avenue in Nashville, Tennessee. The Batter's Box offers shuttle service to all Titans home games. It's a great place for friends to gather for the game and after the game. So check out the Batter's Box Bar and Grill, and thanks again for sponsoring the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to Pit Pass. Larry Woody, Joe Williams. I want to say hello to our friends at Highland Rim Speedway. They're up on Bethel Road. Action about to get started up there. As a matter of fact, here in a little while, we're going to have some key dates for you. The biggest one to remember, opening night, April 13th. We'll have more for you, though, as we go through the show. Larry, we've talked about it last year. Let's talk about this year. They're going to get everything started this weekend. Now, we are shooting on a Wednesday, so tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's NASCAR Preseason Thunder in Daytona, rolling out the Gen 6 race car for the first time that it'll be on the racetrack. It's been through the wind tunnel, but now they're going to put it on the racetrack with other race cars. Larry, this Gen 6 car is designed to be, quote, more racy and to look more like stock cars, going back to the stock bodies. Right. The car tomorrow, the concept of the car tomorrow was great, but until you can recognize on the racetrack the car that you drove to get to the racetrack or that you rented to drive to get to the racetrack, then you're just doing an IROC series, the old International Race of Champions, where everything was supposedly equal.
All the cars were equal and the drivers just drew from them. I think, Joe, first of all, you got to give NASCAR credit for the car of tomorrow because of the safety innovations. Yeah. We saw some horrendous looking wrecks with the car of tomorrow, and yet there weren't any drivers seriously injured. Junior got a concussion, but in the old days, some of those wrecks drivers wouldn't have walked away from, as you and I well know. So right. That's, kudos to NASCAR for the safety innovations in the car tomorrow. Now the next step is, if they can keep the safety innovations, and as NASCAR said, make the cars a little racier. Now, I still think the real objective is, like you say, to make the cars more stock, so you get that fan model loyalty back, manufacturer loyalty, that kind of thing, regain some of that. If they can get the perfect combination, the safety features of the car tomorrow, the racier, more stock-looking cars of the Gen 6 or whatever they're calling these new models, then they'll have the perfect combination. I still don't know, Joe. The bottom line is, if racers don't want to race, I'm not sure you can make them race. And I got to tell you, I think in the last few years, I don't detect that racing desire in a lot of the drivers the way we did in the old days. And part of it may be they're so wealthy you can make $3 million by finishing 43rd every weekend. You're going to, they're racing for points now. The objective is not to so much go out and win the race, but to go out and have a good, safe finish and get those points and don't have any wipeouts. I think, Joe, there's a mentality change in drivers, and I'm not sure that changing models, changing car designs is going to change that mentality.
Larry, do you get the feeling that the drivers have changed from being drivers to being an advertising medium? They've quit being drivers. Now they're, for lack of a better term at the moment, pitchmen.
No question about that. There's no question. And the Bush brothers being the perfect example. In the old days, rough, tough drivers, if you got the job done on the track, nobody cared what you did off the track. Nowadays, you can't do that. You've got to have the combination of talent and off the track, as you said, pitchman ability. And, you could argue whether that's good or bad, but it's a fact of life. It's got to be done nowadays. But again, on the track, I just don't detect that the Cale Yarborough type mentality, where you got out and if you didn't, like I used to say in the old days, wreck or win. Bobby Allison said the second place driver is just the first loser to cross the finish line. I don't detect that kind of mentality in today's drivers.
I'm kind of torn, Larry. There's a point at which they've got to do their job. Their job is obviously to take care of their sponsors, but somewhere along the line, I think they've become more concerned with not making a move, an aggressive move to win a race, as you're talking about, because one of two things. Either they're already making enough money, boy, if I do this, could I get hurt? Or if I do this, do I get hurt and I don't make that corporate appearance Tuesday?
And cost myself in the point standings. And that's it, Joe, that goes back to your top 10 list about Jeff Gordon and Clint Boyer. Their run in the old days, that was just a racing incident. I mean, people talk about it for a weekend and forget it. We're still talking about it into the new year because it's so stunning. Two stock car drivers wrecked each other trying to win a race.
Yeah, isn't it amazing?
Yeah, what's the sport
What's
coming?
this all about?
What's the sport coming
And
to?
it wasn't Talladega and it wasn't Daytona.
No, and they weren't particularly running for position at the time.
And it wasn't Bristol.
Boyer was technically in championship position, but basically they just ran into each other because they were mad, didn't like each other. And in the old days, that was what the sport was about. Nowadays, the mentality has changed so much that it's stunning when two stock car drivers don't like each other and crash each other on the track. So again, we digress from your new car model to the old style mentality, but I do think that's something NASCAR's got to consider. But back to your point, it will be interesting to see how these cars run at Daytona. When you get a bunch of them out on the track, will they be more, in NASCAR's words, racier?
Yeah, we'll get a chance to find out. Now, they'll be on the track Thursday, Friday, Saturday from 9 in the morning till noon, and then from 1 to 5 Eastern time, which means that's 8 to noon, and no, it's 8 to 11, and it's an hour earlier here in the Central Time. I can't do the math in my head right now. But Speed Channel will be carrying all that. They're going to be rotating some anchors through and doing some reporting from pit road. So it'll be a good chance to see how they look, what the reaction of the drivers might be.
And Joe, as you know, race fans are just like football fans who get excited in the preseason with nothing counts, nothing matters. It's all practice, preparation, tune-ups. But fans are ready to hear some motors on the track and smell the rubber burning. So this is our time of year. Speaking
of TV, if you get a hold of this early enough this evening, on Wednesday night, that's tonight, January the 9th, Jeff Gordon will be on CBS. Their program, I get that a lot. Jeff's going to be he's going to be acting as a clerk at a parts store, Larry. The gist of the show is they put famous people in unusual spots and wait and see how many folks actually recognize them. You know, hey, you like Jeff Gordon? Yeah, I get that a lot. What a concept. Now, the problem is Gordon's appearance may be a bit overshadowed because also on this edition, working at a warehouse store will be a guy by the name of Larry Hagman. You know, J.R. Ewing, who passed away in November. This is like the last show that he shot before he passed away. So I will bet you that'll probably supersede Mr. Gordon's time on the air. Also, as we close this segment, I want to say hi to our friends at USA Motor and Machine over on Cleveland. You know, if you still got it in your mind to be kind of a do-it-yourselfer, they can do all the machining that you need done, or if you just need it fixed, go see them. They can either take care of it or point you in the right direction. That's USA Motor Machine on Cleveland Avenue. Coming up, we're going to close this one out. Talk a little bit about local racing and some big and good news coming out of Highland Rim Speedway. Stay with us.